I thought my ex-girlfriend was bad, but just imagine how things would be if she came back from the dead. Not that I have any ex-girlfriends who got what was coming to them. Tonight's review is on Life After Beth, which follows a guy whose girlfriend Beth has just passed away. Soon afterward, he sees that Beth is still walking around, and at first he suspects that this is just an elaborate hoax for Beth to break up with him, but then he visits her grave and sees that there's a big hole in the ground where she was laying. Of all the movies that I've reviewed so far this month, I would say that Life After Beth has the most tenuous connection to the horror genre. Sure, it's about somebody coming back from the dead, but it's really more of a quirky comedy. At the beginning of the movie, you see the main character and Beth's parents dealing with the recent loss, and it's very genuine and touching, yet at the same time there's a lot of humor that comes from it. And the comedy isn't really laugh out loud funny, at least not to me, but it's not unfunny if that makes sense. It's not the type of humor that didn't make me laugh because of how badly written it was. It wasn't painful to sit through. It's just a more subtle, quiet humor. Of course, humor is subjective. It might make you laugh more than it did me, and I know I'm doing a great job selling this movie. Dane Dehaan plays the main character, and as far as I can remember, the only other two movies that I've seen him in before are Chronicle and The Amazing Spider-Man 2, so I'm more used to seeing him play a creep, albeit a sympathetic one. In this movie, he's more of an average Joe. He's very likable and yet very flawed, and it's easy to relate to the way that he reacts to certain situations. And Aubrey Plaza does a good job playing Dahan's zombie girlfriend. She's probably the funniest character in the whole movie. When she first comes back, she starts off acting relatively normal, but before long you can see that things are a little off with her. I really like how this movie reinvents the zombie in that way. Instead of hungering for human flesh straight from the grave, it kind of makes more sense to have this character's mind steadily deteriorate with her body. And while there's never a point where the movie takes itself totally seriously, it does devolve into more of a horror film during the second half. A couple of years ago, as I was doing my first month of October reviews, I referenced another review program here on YouTube called Welcome to the Basement, in which they said that often horror movies are about more than just the horror, and in this case, Life After Beth is essentially about learning to move on. The way that Beth degenerates throughout the film is basically what life will do if you cling desperately to the past. It's better to take enjoyment with the good things in the present. Overall, Life After Beth may not have made me laugh very often, but it's still a very entertaining zombie comedy with substance, and I do recommend it. I hope y'all have a good one.